Wouldn't you like a taste of the magic? We have 4 wouldn't you likes to get through today, and from what I understand, I think all of them are artists who are new to me. I'm double checking. Okay, lies. One of them isn't new to me. 3 out of the 4 are new to me. We have Koki Omi, we have Jimena, we have, oh boy, Lari Tamia, Lari Tamiau. I am so sorry. And we have Taco Draws. I apologize to Laurie, which is what I'm going to call you for short, because I butchered that. I know I did. But I'm very excited. I'm excited to see a whole bunch of Hermes designs. This ought to be fun. Wouldn't You Like is a pretty upbeat, entertaining song. Hermes, okay, let me put it this way. While Hermes often kind of just gets relegated to being comic relief, almost a kind of trickster role all the time, that's not his main existence. Hermes actually has tons of things under his purview as a god. One of those many things being that he is a psychopomp, which means he actually escorts the souls of the dead to the underworld. So he has a lot of things, again, under his purview, but he does often kind of just get relegated to being kind of a snarky trickster comic relief. And again, I don't mind that. I do think it's kind of sad that he just sort of gets typecast that way as a god. And Jorge obviously leaned very heavily into that for the character here, but he did get some bops. So that's fine by me. So we're gonna do the first one, which is Wouldn't You Like? The only vision I have of Hermes in terms of how he exists in Epic the Musical in my head is the voice actor, because I've seen the skits that he's done in character, which honestly crack me up to no end, and I adore them. So this is going to be my first time like seeing other people's interpretations of the character. And again, because I've got 3 artists who I don't recognize at all, I don't even know what art styles I'm gonna get. And I am just very excited. So we're gonna go into our first one with Koki Omi. Headband. Yet another one with, I'm assuming, what used to be Pilates' headband.
I must say, what a
no eyes.
Speech you gave.
Who goes there?
Just a friend who could help you save your men. Like Cersei's not to be.
Pausing here because I really like this shot. Again, we're keeping Hermes' eyes entirely in shadow. He seems to have an almost, like, just from what little I can see of it, it reminds me of, I call it like the Robin Hood hat. You know, like the classic image of Robin Hood, or at least even like the Disney version, that kind of hat. I swear if there's a feather in it. No, there'll be wings in it. Duh, of course. But the fact that he's plucked the head ribbon away while saying, just a friend who can help you save your men. I see you. I see the connection.
Best with you want to beat her, you'll need the blessing of a certain god.
Not the wings twitching.
Someone who's not afraid to send a message.
Hermes?
Wouldn't you like
oh, and now the color comes in. Nice.
Like to use more than words? Deep in the night, the fight lasts for hours. You can be hurt or you can beat her. Wouldn't you like?
Wow, we're keeping his face entirely. Oh, first time I see an eye. That's an interesting choice. There we see he has the Caduceus. Oh, that's funny. So yeah, we are definitely showing Hermes with, sometimes gets called his wand or his staff. It is the Caduceus, which it's a single rod with 2 snakes intertwining up on the side, oftentimes sometimes with wings on the side. Different from the rod of Asclepios. Asclepios, who is was the son of Apollo, and it is the rod of Asclepios, which you can recognize because it only has 1 snake going up it and usually no wings, which is a symbol often associated with medicine. However, there seems to have been a mix-up, and I do think it might be the US military's fault on that one, where they instead used the Caduceus when the Caduceus has nothing to do with medicine. It's just Hermes' wand, if you will. Not him eating. Oh, that too. The other thing that's interesting, sorry, I know I'm pausing a lot already. She can turn you to an animal that'll end up on a plate. We have no evidence that Circe consumes the humans that she turns into animals, and that includes Odysseus' men when she turns them to pigs. There's no indication that she plans on making them a meal for herself. That would essentially be cannibalism, and the gods do not partake in cannibalism, at least not on purpose. Again, hi Tantalus, you tried that, didn't go well for you. If Circe were caught consuming human flesh, even if she had changed them into animals, she would be in so much trouble. So yeah, she does have a tendency to, well, at least in 2 known cases, turn men into animals. She does not eat them. That is not the goal here. I don't know if I realize when I think about that with the Circe reactions I did. Granted, I was concussed, so I don't remember half of what I was saying in those videos, to be fair. I definitely can't remember if I mentioned that, oh, that was definitely not a thing, and I'm not sure if Hermes is saying this to either scare Odysseus more into getting Odysseus to take his help, which, frankly, Odysseus would take regardless. If you're getting help from a god, you do not shun it. You take the help that you're offered. That's a big deal. Or if he's also trying to emphasize, like, just how difficult this fight he's supposed to have is meant to be. Though, again, it kind of ends up as a big nothing burger, even when it gets built up in epic. So not sure. It's like, or I don't know if maybe Jorge potentially misunderstood and thought that, oh, she did that so she could eat them. But that's never meant to be the implication there. But I do like this background art style that's got, I mean, I see these little, like, the not rounded but cornered off kind of swirls. It's very classic, kind of like vase design. So there's some fun stuff going on here. Also, yes, I see her braid in the shape of a heart. That's funny. Meanwhile, Hermes is just, of course, being Hermes.
Fall in love like you're on your 100th date. She can conjure up a monster.
Oh, having her conjure up a chimera. Or chimera. Interesting. I think remember the chimera, or the chimera was on the album art. Now, the chimera or the chimera is a particular monster which was involved in a myth involving somebody named Bellerophon or Bellerophon. And what happened was he ended up flying on, getting to ride the winged Pegasus, and the way that he defeated this chimera, which had 3 heads basically to it, or, lion, goat, and snake, and the snake was the tail. They could also breathe fire. And so the way that he destroyed this monster, because it was basically said to be like almost impossible to destroy them. That's sort of the idea with a lot of these notable monsters. Like Peg over there. Oh my god. So the thing with, again, these monsters is often they are extremely difficult to slay. You often probably need a little help. Kind of unless you're Heracles, again, the guy, he just gets to be the exception to every rule. In the case of Bellerophon, the way that he slayed the chimera while riding upon the Pegasus was that he had taken a piece, I believe it's meant to be like lead or something, that he has on the end of a spear, and he manages to basically shoot the spear down so that the chimera swallows it, and it all melts and just basically destroys it from the inside out. Makes sense, because oftentimes these monsters also have like near impenetrable hides and stuff. But yeah, so that's the chimera. Again, there's only one of the chimera. A lot of these notable monsters, there's only one, they never reappear, but I do remember it was on the design for the album art, so I'm assuming that's why Koki Omi here has decided to include it as part of the imagery. Makes sense.
When you take her on a love, wouldn't you like a taste of the
oh, look at that motion on Hermes flying.
Deep in the night, the fight lasts for hours. You can be hurt or you can be turned. Wouldn't you like to have some
a little feather?
Wouldn't you like your outcome preferred? Deep in the night, the fight can be tragic. I'll help you conquer her. Here in the roots of this flower, that lies such a power to take her on.
Okay, so we have now got the Molly. Interesting thing about Molly, besides, yes, I know I will have to endure the frankly terrible pun. We see Hermes here picking it off a tree. Now, we know that this flower grows from the ground because of its origin. It's said to have sprung from the blood of a Gigantes, who was slain on Circe's island by Helios, her father. Helios, of course, again, who's going to pop up later because no touchy his cows, guys. And we know that it has a white flower and black roots. But again, if you don't know that, like, you don't go looking up Molly, or again, you haven't read the Odyssey because they do describe it. Sure, maybe you think that he plucks it off of, it seemed like he plucked it off a tree. If it's meant to be a hill, that's my bad. It just seemed like he was sort of taking it off a tree, but they do grow in the ground. And again, because we don't know what this flower looks like, it doesn't really have a real world equivalent. You kind of get carte blanche to play, with the exception of you get told it's a white flower and its roots are black. That's really all we know about it in terms of visual designs.
And digested, then you'll manifest a being of your creation. All you need this imagination, though it's only for a moment.
And of course, it's not exactly what Molly does, but this is what Jorge's made it
I
do.
call this route holy moly.
Get ready to trip balls. Okay. Alright, Kokiomi, you in for the on-screen text. And again, I like that you are never letting us really see Hermes' full face. It's a cool, like, little detail. The terrified Odysseus. Oh, nice little temple, I see you. Meant to be her palace. Bye, Lamau.
Thank you. Don't thank me, friend. You very well may
Hey! Love that.
Good luck.
First, like, proper look at his eye, where it's like we have the eye and the iris and everything drawn out as him going, you very well may die. Like, yes. Again, I like that edge. For people who don't give Hermes an extremely dangerous edge, I'm like, you are not understanding how, you know, dangerous, again, the gods in general are, but as much as they can help you, they can hurt you. And this says, you won't get high, trust me. Cookie. If nothing else, your on-screen text, mwah, perfection. That's frankly funnier than the bad pun that's in the song. Those on-screen texts are my favorite. Okay, this next one is by Jimena, who we have seen several times here before. I believe we did get Jimena's Puppeteer, so I'm very... And I think, did Jimena's Puppeteer have a hint towards Hermes at the end? I think there was like one or two of them that hinted at Hermes being around by showing like winged sandals. Was that Jimena? I can't remember if that was Jimena or it might have been Gigi. I'm not sure. Regardless, we're getting a look at Jimena's Hermes, and I'm very curious. So, let's go. Some barren looking trees. See some nice arm muscles, like definition in there.
I must say, what a brilliant speech you gave.
Who goes there?
Just a friend.
I love how we love to play on the fact that Hermes can essentially fly. He's got these winged sandals.
You want to beat her, you'll need the blessing of a certain god.
Oh, I like that. It kind of breaks the fourth wall, almost the way that we have the image of Circe, you know, from behind and he pushes her down. It's sort of a break the fourth wall tactic, or like he's holding up an image of it. That's kind of clever. I like that. That's playing with your medium. And again, we start with Hermes kind of up in the treetops and everything. And I like that even Kokiomi was doing this. You really see Hermes flying around through space. Again, he's got those winged sandals. It's known he could move around pretty quickly and essentially sort of fly, which, I mean, the gods all kind of have a way to move extremely quickly, but I think because he's got the winged sandals, it just, and with the way this song goes, it really fits.
Someone who's not afraid to send a message.
Yet another one with eyes and shadow.
Wouldn't you like a taste
And another
of
one
the
who does
power? Wouldn't
a
you like
color
to use more than
gradient
words?
change in the back.
Deep in the night, the fight lasts for hours. You can be hurt.
Does Hermes
you
have like a
can
little
be
gap tooth or something in
Wouldn't you
there?
like
Maybe
to
it's just the
have
way
some
he
other
managed to
magic? Wouldn't you like your
I saw that glow on that
heart
Molly.
Deep in the night, the fight
And it
can
was
be
blue to
tragic.
really
I'll love to
contrast it.
conquer her. She can
Once
try
again,
to
another
do
gradient
it
color change.
anymore. That'll
Oh,
end
that's
up
clever.
on a plate. She can all but make you fall in love like you're on your 100th date.
This really feels like something that would, okay, I'm gonna say this, and I do mean this as a compliment to Jimena. This reminds me of something that would be like Disney's Aladdin, the animated film. We pretend the live action doesn't exist, where you get Genie's songs, because the way that that is done, Genie is constantly moving and changing. This is one of those things that animation is so perfect for, and I love that Jimena is really just playing with their medium, and really just showing you, like, this is the fun of animation. This is the kind of stuff you can do. And again, with Hermes putting on a pig head, leaning down and suddenly, you know, on the plate, and we're down there, it's like there's just a lot of really cool stuff where I go, oh, this is animation. This is what animation can do. Something that live action can attempt, but just really can't do it the way that animation can. And that's where I also say always respect animation as a medium. It's not just for kids. It is something that it is an art form that should, and a storytelling mode that should be respected, and something like this really just gets to play with the medium in a really fun way.
that'll grind you to the bones. She has all the ways to hurt you.
Oh my god.
When you take
Woo, what a
her
face.
on the line. Wouldn't you like the
Sparkles.
taste of the power?
We know, I'm very distracted by sparkling things.
Deep in the night, the
And I like these gradient color palette changes.
you can be turned. Wouldn't you like to have some other magic?
Molly again. Glowing. It looks a bit like a rose, the design.
Be tragic, I'll help you conquer her.
Oh, now maybe less so.
Here in the root of this flower that lies such a power.
But I like that we're outlining it in these kind of glowing, very pale blue.
Manifest a being of your creation. All you need's imagination, though it's only.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that moment of imagination made me think of these SpongeBob SquarePants. Imagination. Jimena, please tell me that was the influence, because that would kind of give me great joy, and it's funny. I like it.
You've beaten your opponent.
And I call this route holy moly.
Oh god, not the little like blush lines.
Wouldn't you like a taste of the power? Wouldn't you like to use more than words?
Oh.
Deep in the night, the fight lasts for hours. You can be hurt or you can be.
It is totally giving me Genie from Aladdin, and I do say this absolutely as a compliment. That's such a great. I don't know if that was the inspiration for a lot of how this vibes and moves, but I think it's such a cool inspiration if it is. And a lot of them, like this, along with Koki Omi, did a lot of just like them twirling around in the air at the end bit, which I think is fun. It's scary shit out of more of this dance here.
Hermes, thank you. Don't thank me, friend. You very well may die. Good luck.
The kiss on the cheek. Ooh, color palette change again. Very interesting. So many interesting things going on here. I knew the Wouldn't You Likes were gonna be like just really fun animation, and it's proving me right. Thus far, the first two have proved me right. It's just fun animation. This is such a song where animators get to play. I mean, again, can make their jobs harder for themselves because all of that motion and everything else, it's a lot to do, but it's really like a sandbox you're playing in. Oh, that's so much fun. That was very fun. And yet again, I'm liking this decision by these past two animators. I mean, I don't know if the other two are going to follow in that, but Jimena and Koki Omi to have like basically blacked out Hermes' eyes, sort of the shadow of his hat or helmet, whatever you want to call it. But also, again, I just think these are gods. You know, you hear what they're saying and they're smiling, but they're gods. They're not human. There's so much fun stuff going on here. Okay, third of my fourth Wouldn't You Likes. This is Laurie, as I'm calling you for short, because I'm just flopping on your username, and Larita Meow. I'm flopping so hard. I'm so sorry. I hate messing up people's names. As somebody who has a name that was just consistently mispronounced by almost every teacher or professor and the like who I ever met, like, or anyone like through my life, I always feel so bad when I mess up people's names. So that's my bad. But Laurie, I am ready for your Wouldn't You Like. Oh, I see Eurylochus and Odysseus. Are they splitting up? Yeah, makes sense. Ooh, putting on a hood. Why take immediately off?
What a brilliant speech you give.
Hello, Feather.
Who goes there?
Just a friend.
Quite a few
Who can
frames
help
in
you
this.
save your name.
I'm impressed.
Love like Cersei's not to be messed with. You want to
And
beat
the
her.
facial
You
hair.
need the blessing of a
see
certain god. Divine intervention. Someone who's not afraid to
You reveal?
send a message.
Oh, the first time we got a full face reveal, but I love. Wow. Okay. One, there are a lot of frames going on in here. Quite a few frames, which I'm finding very impressive, mainly because more frames, more work. For those who don't know, at least in terms of editing, this is how I always explain to people when they say, oh, you only have to do a minute. Okay, I'm like, all right. Editors don't think in minutes, we don't even think in seconds, we think in frames. Now, generally, most of the time, if you're doing 1080p or if you're doing even 4K, you're going to have oftentimes what's called 29.97, basically 30 frames per second. So if you take 30 times 60, that's how many frames are in 1 minute. So then, if you're then doing a 3-minute song, you take 30 times 60 times 3. And that's how many frames are in there when you're editing video. And so the longer a piece, the more frames are in it. So when you're adding more frames, it means you're doing more work. And it often, of course, will make the animation look more fluid because you've filled in more frames. Obviously, I don't know how many frames Lottie was working with. I'm assuming something around 30. That's just sort of the general rule. Sometimes you will see people shoot, you'll see this often listed as FPS. So sometimes people will shoot in 60 FPS. So that is 60 frames per second, which again would mean 60 times 60 is 1 minute. That's how many frames you have to work with. And then multiply that by however many minutes you're doing. Regardless, there are quite a few frames going on in here, so I noticed that right off the bat. This is the first time we've got a Hermes full face reveal. I like that we did it with him taking off the hat and kind of doing the bow. I mean, I would say that's probably a more modern gesture, at least with the taking off of the hat and the way that it's done, but it just like feels so right for Hermes. And now we have him putting on some round shaded glasses. I'm so curious. I'm also noting I like the facial hair on Odysseus. Man needs facial hair. Again, all of the hairstyles should probably be about like shoulder length-ish for the dudes, but we're not going for period accuracy here, and I'm just very curious to see more of this Hermes.
Wouldn't you like a taste of the power? Wouldn't you like to use more than words? Deep in the night, the fight lasts for hours. You can be hurt or you can be hurt. Wouldn't you like to have some of the magic?
Oh, that's cool.
Wouldn't you like your
Oh my god. Okay, not the sword spinning it into the caduceus. That's a really cool bit of animation. It looked gorgeous, by the way. I was curious what we were doing there. Also, I'm just noticing the kind of, it looks like almost like a fur kind of coat and stuff we have going on here. Is this design inspired by Troy, who I know is the VA for Hermes? Because I just remember the fur coat, and he does have these tinted glasses. I can't remember if they're circular ones, but I do know there's tinted glasses. Is this inspired by the look of Troy? Because suddenly now the glasses are making sense, as much as, yes, I usually complain about anachronistic glasses. And I'm still a little like, oh, anachronistic glasses. But, you know, if you want to make a case that that characters like the gods are going to be allowed to just like flout all the historical rules in their looks, if any characters are going to, you could say it's the gods. Now, similarly, again, I'm referencing Disney's Aladdin, because I just think the genie, as portrayed by Robin Williams, is such a great counterpoint, especially with Hermes here. And how, you know, we have in that the genie making so many anachronistic and modern day references and things. And you're just like, well, the genie kind of exists outside of time and space. It's this magical, mythical creature, especially in the context of that film. So it like kind of works, even though like you just go, how in the heck is he gonna, how does he have all this stuff? Like, does anybody get these references? Probably not. Who cares? It's the genie, and the energy that Robin Williams brings to that character totally just like makes you go, yeah, I don't care. I don't care. It's entertaining. I think similarly with Hermes, especially with how he's done in Epic, he's a character where if you throw him in with all of the anachronistic stuff, it weirdly doesn't feel anachronistic just because of how the character is and how these songs go. And again, also because he's a god. You can argue the gods exist outside of time and space. They are immortal. They live forever. Now, again, they're not all able to like jump into the future or see the future and all these things, but I have less of an issue with like these strange little things, which again, we know that anachronistic glasses are like a weird little pet peeve. If they're on gods, in a case like this, especially also because I've seen the skits, it doesn't hit me quite as hard as seeing Polity suddenly with these anachronistic glasses and the sweatband and everything. But I'm sorry, round that all the way back about to say, is this inspired by Troy? Because that would actually make a lot of sense. And I love the posing here. I like that we have Hermes' face tilted down. And the reason you do that is so they can kind of look up at you through the eyes. And it creates a pretty often intimidating, slightly darker edge. There's a famous thing that's known in filmmaking as essentially the Kubrick smile, because he would often have characters do this. Whether you're thinking, I mean, very infamously think something like The Shining, you get Jack Nicholson doing it. And they would always say, you bring your head down, you look up through the eyes, and then you smile. It's just unnerving, right? It seems very like, oh shit, I'm in trouble. So having Hermes postured to be looking up a bit like this while still grinning, it really adds that danger to the character. It gives him that edge, and I like that posing so much.
Preferred. Deep in the night, the fight can be tragic. I'll help you conquer her. She can turn you to an animal.
Oh, look at this animation. I love how everybody has done this part of the song.
She can conjure up a monster that'll
The
grind
Chimera.
you to the bones. She has all the ways to haunt ya when you take her on a lie.
So many frames for the mouth and the movement. It's incredible. And again, Odysseus, I love all the facial hair. It makes me so happy. It really, it helps age him.
Deep in the night, the fight can be tragic. I'll help you conquer her. Here in the root of this flower.
Hello, glowing flower. I love when we have the flower glowing to show that, like, this is not normal.
Of your creation, all you need's imagination. Though it's only for a moment, you've beaten your opponent.
And I call this route Holy Moly.
Oh, God. Not in the glitter text.
Taste of the power, wouldn't you like to use more than words? Deep in the night, the fight lasts for hours.
Nice wide, good transition with the tree.
Wouldn't you like to have some of the magic?
Oh, filling his eyes. Oh, with the color change. That's very nice. Oh, up in the sky. Oh. This one remembering that Odysseus is singing this bit, which I'll be honest, when I first listened, I didn't realize that was Odysseus singing. I thought that was Troy. Wow, look at these expressions. There's so much great stuff going on here. Oh, I see that eyebrow arch.
Hermes, thank you. Don't thank me, friend. You very well may die.
Ha! Putting the hat back on, like, well.
Good luck.
Oh, great animation on his little transformation out. That was awesome. Oh, is this a full color in page? This must be inspired by Troy because I'm seeing the color of the fur coat, which he kind of has half on. And honestly, wow, in full color, this looks really great. Great, honestly, and awesome line work and everything else. Wow, Lottie, you thus far might have my favorite, wouldn't you like? I don't know, there's one more after you, but right now, this might be my favorite of the ones we've seen. I think it has to do with the facial expressions, the posing and the posturing of Hermes, and everything about his look is equal parts I'm helping you, but I am also extremely dangerous because I'm not human and because God's always, you know, you take your help from the God, also never say no. If you say no, it probably won't end well for you, and if they're offering it to you, it probably means you need it. I enjoyed that immensely. Ah! Alright, we're on our last. Wouldn't you like a taste of the magic? And it is taco draws. One that I can pronounce, thank gosh. I'm sorry, Laurie, I just can't pronounce yours. I stumble, I fumble, I miss, I'm sorry. My last of the wouldn't you likes. These have all been really fun. Like, I'm having kind of as much fun in a way as I was having with Ruthlessness, but just in a different way. Like, Ruthlessness is sort of all of my awful violent glee, whereas this is just like, it's so fun. I love seeing how people play with animation as a medium. This is a perfect song to do it with, and there's so many moments in the song that really just allow you, again, as I say, to play in this big creative sandbox and just like show what animation can do. And I've just enjoyed them all immensely. They've been so fun, and they really fit the song. And so, Taco Draws, you are my last up. Let's see this wouldn't you like. Oh. Ah, you have an intro. I was like, what am I looking at? Oh, that's a cute intro. Ooh. I love how sketchy this is. As somebody with garbage line work, and I'm not saying this is garbage, I like seeing sketchiness.
I must say, what a brilliant speech you gave.
Who goes there?
Hello, Hermes. A lot of us having Hermes Oh, Hermes has his lyre and then he's playing it. Yes, Hermes and the lyre. So for those who don't know, Hermes and the lyre. Now, while Apollo is associated with the lyre, its invention is actually credited to Hermes. And it was said he did this on his first day of existence. He's literally a one-day-old baby. Again, Hermes just showing everybody up. He happens to find it's an empty turtle shell, and he strings basically cow gut through it, and that's how he makes the first lyre. Now, during this whole adventure he has when he is 1 day old, he steals some of a herd of cattle that are precious to Apollo, and Apollo is pissed, even though Hermes tries to cover his tracks actually pretty well. It's very clever how he does it. And Apollo gets so mad, and they both show up, and, you know, Apollo is basically, I demand satisfaction to Zeus, and Zeus is frankly so amused at this whole thing that he's almost just like, I can't even be upset because, oh my god. Because literally Hermes just argues, what do you mean? I'm just a day-old baby. And this is frankly, Zeus is like, you know where you're trying to hold in your laughter so desperately? That's Zeus in this moment. He can't take it seriously. It's just too funny. I don't blame him. I have no poker face, as we well know. I would be snorting on the sidelines so loud. And basically he says, can't you two, he's like, Hermes, give him back his cows. He's like, yeah, pull the one day old baby defense. I know you did it. Give him back his cows. You know, let's apologize. And Hermes is fussing around with this lyre, and Apollo sees it and he really wants it. So he says, look, you know what? Basically give me back my cows. If you give me that thing, what is that? Like this musical instrument of yours, we're all square. And that's pretty much how Apollo ends up associated with the lyre. He's also very closely associated with music, so it makes sense that he's associated with the lyre. But I love that we have Hermes playing it, because technically Hermes is the lyre's inventor. And also given the stringed instrument we have in the beginning, which I'm not sure if it's meant to be an acoustic guitar or like a harp kind of lyre type instrument. It would make sense that we're then making this more of a diegetic sound, aka Hermes is actually strumming those chords, which I think is pretty neat.
The blessing of a certain god, divine intervention, someone who's not afraid to.
Hey, another one we're seeing the face.
Hermes?
Is Hermes almost... I don't think he's... Maybe he is. So this is interesting. I can't tell. Oh, cards. Okay. I do find this one funny, having a star on top, like a princess wand. Oh my god, not the hair. Circe. Okay, one thing. Circe is misspelled here on this note. It is Circe, but I think you might have heard Circe. I wonder if, and Taco, you can tell me if I'm right, if you happen to see this, if you're thinking more like Circe, like the Game of Thrones character, which is Cersei, I believe. So we've kind of split the difference here. Whatever the case, doesn't really matter. I was gonna say that, I mean, one, I like that initially we have playing cards. I kind of hope that imagery is gonna come back later because I'm curious what we could do with that. The thing I was looking at was, because that was so strange, Hermes' feet. Because again, something to remember about this age was most of the time people ran around barefoot. Especially if they couldn't afford or didn't have good shoes available, because the shoes you were wearing were usually sandals of some kind. The idea of these people walking around barefoot is totally common. You'll find in the Odyssey they talk about feet quite a lot, and it's not some weird foot fetish. It's just because it was so common for people to be going around barefoot that, like, knowing what someone's feet looked like was not that weird, because, you know, toes out all the time, man. They're just hanging out there. So the way that Taco has drawn Hermes, I couldn't tell because I didn't see any like sandals or crisscrossing straps, which a lot of people do here, for any sort of sandals for these winged sandals that he has. But I see the wings coming out. I'm like, oh, do we have Hermes going barefoot? That would imply the wings are actually sprouting from his ankles and are not attached to any sort of sandal. It could just be that maybe we're meant to believe that Hermes is wearing some kind of boot instead. I don't know. But if it's barefoot, honestly, cool choice. Just because, again, it was so common for people to go around barefoot. It was just totally normal. And yes, even fighting barefoot or marching over long distances barefoot, just not that unusual. Now, most of these characters obviously can't afford shoes. These are kings, and obviously gods. Gods can kind of do whatever they want. It doesn't really matter. But sorry, this is me rambling. I can't believe I just went on a tangent about feet. Oh, the things that Epic makes me do. I love that we didn't see what was on the inside of the card, too. Oh my god, Godzilla! Oh my god, dancing. Oh yeah, I think he's supposed to be wearing like little boots. Oh my god, the dancing. Wouldn't you like to have some other magic? Wouldn't you like your outcome? I'm just gonna love that for the lulz. Like choreographed dance routine. Just love it for the hilarity. Oh, hello, Molly. I kind of like, I love the shape language there. It's not, it's just a nice shape. It's a very cavey shape. I see. Okay, Taco, you definitely did the SpongeBob imagination. I see you. I appreciate you. You're having all these fun little things in here that are just making me giggle, and I love it. And I like the bright yellow, again, because this gradient has been in the realm of purples. The kind of the opposite you will see is like yellow. Yellow is the corresponding or contrasting color that you would use. Really makes it stand out. Good use of color theory. Excellent. Excellent, excellent.
Call this route holy moly.
Using the Kadukis as a microphone, I see you. The star sunglasses. I love how Disney's looking kind of sus at the flower. Deep breath. Nice edits with the flash. Ooh, I like that. Oh my gosh, that is an insane. Is that supposed to be Polyphemus? Hear me out. No, I'm kidding. Am I though? I am kind of kidding, but damn. Okay, that is, if that's Polyphemus, he yoked. Okay, Taco Draws. But no, what I really like about that, one, he opens his eyes, they're bright yellow. What I like is seeing the sort of like vines or the climbing root underneath his skin glowing. I love that. That's something I love. Animation can do it so well. It looks so good. And again, using that yellow to contrast with all these purples. Oh my god, I'm giving him the glasses!
Hermes.
Back to all the purples. That's really fun.
Don't thank me, friend. You very well may die. Good luck.
Oh, that was fun. Taco, that was a delight. That made me giggle. Just made me giggle and laugh my way through. I think that's hilarious. Again, all of these things you can do with animation, seeing the fun designs. I had been told that for the sort of done for Pokemon battle thing that's very short-lived, and I'm firmly in the camp that done for needs to be longer. I just also really like done for more than there are other ways, so like I am biased. Take that with a big grain of salt. I have been told that usually people imagine that Odysseus summons up essentially a Cyclops. I don't know if it could be. I haven't looked. Mary, you're gonna yell at me going, I put this in the libretto. I can't remember the libretto for Circe Saga. I'm sorry. I can't remember if that's in the libretto. Like that is a note that Jorge gave, or if that was just a one person's interpretation and everybody kind of jumped on it. Regardless, those were so fun. Honestly, kind of like Ruthlessness. I mean, man, did not miss. Nobody missed. These were all a delight. These were all fun. And really, again, I think Wouldn't You Like, and I'm sure later Dangerous will be the same way, really showcases the fun sandbox you get to play in when it comes to animation. How your rules, if you will, are so different. Now, does that mean often like some people can go really out in the deep end and you're like, whoa, what are you doing? Sure, but these are all fun, you know, and you see so much talent in this. You see the creativity of designs, the amount of motion and poses and everything you have to make for Hermes, because he's constantly kind of moving around. You know, what tone are you going to take? Are you going to lean into that edge of danger? Are you going to go full tilt, just fun and kind of almost meme worthy everywhere? Which, I mean, Taco Draws very much for me falls on that spectrum. And again, I say this as a compliment. It's so fun. Versus Larita, I think on the other side really leans into a bit more of the danger with how they pose Hermes. And again, that could just be my interpretation. I could be totally off on what the intention was. And then also going to Himena and Kokiomi, you know, making the conscious choice to not really ever show you Hermes' eyes, keeping him very, you know, only half visible. So many cool choices. That was so much fun. Oh, what a delight. What a delight.